back. So, the whole of Nigeria is talking about Pastor Bolaji Idowu. But you know, until your view talks about it, everything they are saying is not yet, doesn't hold water just yet. So controversy erupted when Pastor Bolaji Idowu attributed the Yoruba race's lack of progress to fear, contrasting it with the perceived fearlessness of the Igbo people. Speaking in church, he claimed that fear is a deep-seated hindering the Yoruba people's ability to achieve greatness, while commending the Igbos for their boldness and global entrepreneurial presence. His comments have sparked heated debate, with some Nigerians criticizing him for promoting ethnic stereotypes, while others see his message as a call to action for overcoming fear and pursuing one's potential. As reactions continue to pour in, Pastor Idowu has yet to issue any clarification or apology. Before delving into this discussion, here are some of the exact words. He said, "There is a problem with the Yoruba race. Even the ones that are 48 years old, there is a problem with our race, and it's called fear. Life bows for the courageous, life works against the fearful." For more clarity, you can watch the video yourself. But as I said, it has sparked quite a bit of controversy. There have been two sides of the divide, and people have said a few things, but we'd like to hear your own thoughts, our viewers' views on this. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 021-635-2013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and also on YouTube. We'll be happy to read your thoughts. Who would like to jump in here? Elijah, there in front of me.
How are you pushing? No.
This is a pastor.
Okay, go ahead. Amaka is ready to take the floor.
So let me take the floor. Okay, first off, it's important for us to understand our strengths and weaknesses as
okay, before you say, let me call for the video for those who have no idea what we're talking about. There's some people that don't watch online. Watch this video, then we'll take it from there.
Yoruba people, there's a problem with your race. Yoruba people, hold on here. Even if you are 48, hold on here. There's a problem with your race. It's called fear. Life bows for the courageous. Life walks against the fearful. I'm saying it so that you can, from a young age, that's why I love the Igbos. They are fearless. There's no country in this world you don't see an Igbo man there. Nobody can do anything significant in life because of fear. One of the reasons people never emerge or go forward in life is fear. And fear will lead to self-doubt. You will begin to doubt yourself. And I'm saying it to you because when you are young, you can conquer it young. It's in Yoruba culture. Rora. Hey, careful. What's careful? A man only once. Hey. What's hey? When they say hey, you say ha. The worst you can do is to fail at it. You will try again. We will do big things, though. But for you to do big things, you must be fearless.
That he was throwing stabs at me. But it's okay. I will come for you. But you know, first of all, Pastor Bolaji is somebody I know very well. I was head usher in his church many years ago. I worked closely with Pastor Bolaji, so I know Pastor Bolaji well. So it's not somebody I want to criticize openly. But I certainly have my reservations about what he said. Strong reservations, I would say. Because the truth is that there are different sides of the divide. But let me hear from the ladies first before I then come in my own view, because if I want to start, I don't want to sway anybody's opinion. But Amaka, let me let you jump in here.
So, as I was saying, so I said, so like we as individuals, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and I don't believe it has to do with tribe. I believe that there are people that are fearless in the Yoruba, tribe, and there are people that, have fear and anxiety, overthinkers, and same in the Igbo. I think when it comes to fear, or you being an overthinker, or just or being fearless, it has
universal.
It's universal. It has nothing to do with tribe or any form of ethnic group. But then, that being said, I want to say to this first is, regardless of how he put it, I'm taking from his the message he was trying to pass, that in life you can't go far, you can't succeed if you're overthinking it, if you're not fearless, and things like that. So that's his message. But how he passed it and how he tribalized it, I don't agree with that.
Tribalize. Is that what you said?
Yes. How he did that, I don't agree with how that message was passed. Do I agree and accept the underlying message? Yes, I do. And then lastly, I want to say, like, we all know, and it's been said, and it's known everywhere, that where they say that if you go to do business anywhere in the world, if you don't find an Igbo man, run, don't do business there. Because that Igbo men, Igbo men love to do business, and they're everywhere. Any states they go in, any part of the world they go in, they look for that business opportunity there. It is known, right? But that does not mean, I don't think that has anything to do with being fearless or not being fearless. It's just a cultural thing that has evolved and passed down over the years.
I feel that because the Igbo man, if you look at the Igbo culture, you know that they are mostly hunters, farmers, and there's actually a wrestling competition always in the Igbo land. So they're always, you know what they call obiakbo, that they have that hard mind. But I don't think one aspect is enough to generalize. And I feel like we are sitting at the brim of this ethnic bigotry to make a comment like that. He's a very respectable man of God. You know, most times when you preach, you might just quote stuff out of context and then people blow it up. You see how it's trending because there is a mention of Yoruba and Igbo. And we know that this has been one of the burning issues that we have to deal with as Nigerians presently. In politics, you see how the Igbo now go to your village, we'll throw you into the third mainland bridge. Igbo people will say, Yoruba, you two-faced. Those are those kind of stuff. So, but I have learned not to stereotype or to generalize when it comes to this, because I actually feel like, I won't call it fear, I feel like the Igbo man is resilient. He's dogged. Whereas the Yoruba man is very diplomatic and strategic. It's like having a war formation. You have the people who are the brains, who sit behind and say, you go to formation 1, if they break formation 1, go to formation 2, you strike from here, if plan A fails, I feel Yorubas are those strategists. Because if you've noticed in this country, especially when it comes to politics, is wherever the Yoruba man stands, that stands. You know, the Yoruba man is like the middle person in Nigeria. If they say we are supporting the North, you notice that most of the time it swerves to the North. So I feel, as I will allow other people to talk, but I feel like it's not the right way to put it.
Thank you very much, Abigail. Before I come to you, Nima, let me try to come in here, because I know you're a Muslim, so you're always very careful of getting involved in these kind of conversations. But as I said, I know Pastor Bolaji very well. I felt that this was very irresponsible and very self-serving. Because the truth is that when you have a congregation, sometimes you play to the gallery of the people in your community. You know, if I live in the US, for example, and all my members of my audience are members of maybe the white community, I'm likely to preach to pander to their own sentiments, you know. So you have an audience, definitely a diverse audience. Maybe you could have, I'm just saying this is what he did. I'm just saying it's possible you could have profiled your audience. This is more because these Igbo people are very rich, they are lucky, very wealthy people, and you pander to those sentiments because you just want to win that community over. That's how it came across to me. Also, when I say self-serving and irresponsible, because you know how sensitive.
Very sensitive.
Ethnic conversations. We are still rebuilding from 2023. We are still reminding ourselves. We are still rebuilding from civil war. And things have gone awry. It got really bad in the last elections. It is very irresponsible for any person on the pulpit to bring that to that kind of platform, that kind of stage. It is wrong. So I don't even want to debate Yoruba people like this, Igbo people like this. Just like you said, rightly said, you don't generalize, because yes, we can see the obvious that we all know. But to stand at that pulpit and say that kind of thing, it was self-serving and it was irresponsible. Nima, let me let you jump in here for a second.
Okay, so apart from just generalization, I see a lack of intelligence from those who are supporting what he said and what he said. A lot of times we don't sit down and understand our history. So yes, it is very popular now to say an Igbo man is the first you find in every place you go, but that's not the truth. It's a generalization. It's just an unfounded statement everybody has accepted. It's an unfounded statement that everybody has accepted. Go to other places. There are plenty of other Nigerians you'd easily assume they are Igbos. in every place of the world that you go to. Take the Benin, for instance. A lot of people are all in places that are unimaginable. I saw a cold video of someone, and the name, I was like, wait till you leave Edo, go find for that place. What are you looking for around the world? So people are on a quest for good, for better life, everywhere in the world. Some Jamaicans claim to be Nigerians, and they can claim to be any tribe in Nigeria they choose. That's a general statement. Nobody has sat down to do the statistics and give us the numbers. It's a generalization. But to come at a race, you must understand the history, the privileges, the wars, the struggles of those people for you to be able to say the race and conclude in such a way. Because when you say it, from the kind of influence that you wield, you just might be pushing another psychology on the younger generation who will now think, my people are fearful, so I shouldn't try.
Simple.
Then the one that broke me is reading, because as you were talking, I was reading the response from Dr. Stephen Akita, another damage.
What did he say?
Another damage. Trying to endorse it, he mentioned the case of MKO and talked about wealth that did not transcend one person, trying to say they didn't build legacies. As if in this our lifetime,
there's no Okoya.
There's no leave Okoya. In this his lifetime, in this our very lifetime. You want to tell me Adenuga is still the one sitting on the board of Glo? You did not see his daughter Becca and what's her name? Bella and all of that. You are not seeing the wealth. You've not seen Otedola's children on the board of his companies. You refuse to see other Nigerians moving. Tony is even Delta Igbo. The Igbos will
I'm just saying that Nigerians generally.
Nigerians generally.
So leave the words as Nigerians. And when you want to address a person's traits, please address a person.
Yes, exactly.
Because if you give me a chance from the school that I went and the Igbos I have met, in fact, on this my last, I had 2 Igbos on that trip. One very outstanding man. I call him Prof because he's a lecturer. Very outstanding, very disciplined Igbo. He represented Nigeria in the highest standard. He would not. Then another one of Igbo extract made sure that we were embarrassed from the entire place back to the airport in Nigeria. He couldn't put in a statement, had no courtesy, demeaned other African countries, talked down, boasted of money. We were not able to associate with him. Okay, now let me now pick that one, seeing the other one that is outstanding, and use that one as my example of every Igbo tribe. That's the wrongest thing to do.
Let me pause you for a second.
It is important. Every tribe, every person has, when you want to go about tribe and races, it is too general a statement you come to without information.
Simple.
If you want to do correction, everybody, this morning we're discussing two Igbo people, Igbos now, since he's using Igbo as the superior race. 2 Igbo people outstanding, one is doing his job well, the other one is an embarrassment unto himself. I was saying to my husband, I said, you better be careful. Is it stupid or is it wicked? Because if somebody is repeating a mistake over and over, it is either the person is stupid or the person is deliberately being wicked. You need to find out what it is before you offend God.
Well, let me pause you because I have to go on a very short break. This conversation is just starting. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us, and I think I'd like to also understand where Amaka was saying earlier, because in every situation we must also see the silver lining, the good part of it, or the lesson we want to learn. Because I hear Pastor Bolaji's message and I see what he's trying to drive, because there's an inner message. Maybe he could have sent that message in a different way. Yeah. Because I know that Amaka and I've known Amaka for a long time, but Amaka, I can tell you categorically that since you came into my life, that you and I became close, I know how you've pushed me. How you say, Morel, you can't do this. You don't even just tell me. You tell me the step to step, Morel, you do this, you do this, you do it. You break it down. Something I know that if my Yoruba friend will say, Morel, take it easy. That thing, just don't worry. Just don't worry. God will sort it out for you. Don't worry. So I understand that the Yoruba person has that. Because a talker, for example, will advise me, just pray about it, or just be careful. Don't worry. God will do it for you. They'll just be careful. They don't want to advise you. They don't want to be quoted. That's what my Tokwe friend or Yoruba will tell me. But Amaka, you will tell me, okay, this is the situation. You do this, step by step, because you had that drive. to say, do it. And I must be sincere to myself. When I'm alone, I think of the difference. I say, see how that Amaka just gave me the steps I take. But I know that other friends might not do that because they don't want anybody. It was how that told her to go and do something. They're careful. That's one. Secondly, I remember when we went to China, we were put in a place where we didn't see anybody. It was just us and few 95 Nigerians and a few other people from different countries. And we were depressed because we didn't have even the food. The moment they took us to Guangzhou, hey, that I saw my Igbo brothers, I was excited. It was as if I came to Lagos or I was in Aba because they were on the road, they were everywhere. I wanted to just hug a stranger. Because after staying in a place where you don't see anybody, the point is that there's value in everybody. The fact that an Igbo man goes to St. Lucia, I see value there.
It's the personal experience you just
This is my own personal experience.
That's the problem. That itself is the problem. Your personal experience cannot translate to what you describe a race by. Do you know that Guangzhou you are talking about, the person that I have there is Ijebu, married to a Chinese? Oh yeah. And it's hustling like that, but you can assume because you see everybody on the street. My husband speaks Igbo. My husband sits at the CDA with my Igbo neighbors, rushing the language. So how do you describe someone like that if you meet him?
I totally agree.
So the mistake is to generalize a race. That's there is the damage. See, I used to assume when we do this Japa talk that no Hausa de Japa. When me traveled, the 3 people that intervened to come and help us were Hausas. When there was a trend on X about Hausas not doing Japa, when they started to drop details, I read at a young age about the person who designed the BMW cars, all the classic cars BMW has. The guy is of Hausa origin. The only thing the guy did is to come back home, instead of as we would do in the West to marry Oyibo, married another man that he took back there. He raised his kids in the US. You don't wake up and call a cautious, what he calls fear in a Yoruba person is what I know as them being too cautious. So you see some of them.
And there's wisdom in being cautious too.
Exactly.
See, that's the point I wanted to make. So 2 children are playing. They one cross gutter. One says, oh, let's get a wood so that we don't fall in. The other one says, just jump. The 2 of them end at the edge of the gutter. You now say that the one that jumped is wiser than the one who put a wood. But if you were dealing with an accident where the child fell in the gutter and landed on his head, you praise the other one. See, the generalization is the annoyance here.
Yes.
Okay.
And you don't brush a whole race without understanding.
Let me take Ibrahim. Thanks for calling. I'll come to Abigail. Good morning, Ibrahim. You're live.
Good morning.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to contribute to the program.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I listened to your conversation and I appreciate what people are discussing. I want to talk about what you were saying about the Yoruba pastor. You see, it's because he's a man of God. That's why I don't want to be harsh in addressing him. Because, some of these soothsayer, they are the habit of looking for people getting sentiment because they know that, I'm sorry to use this word, the Igbos, especially when you raise their head, they give out money at any will. And you can't compare a Yoruba man. You know what is Yoruba? Yoruba will say they think ahead, they think far. And the Yoruba will always look at where he's coming from, where he is going. So the issue of being afraid, of being fearless, shouldn't even arise from the man of God like that. Are you inciting people that they should be of a bad character? If you are giving good words of God, you should be able to know that there are ways, even inside that congregation, there are Yorubas, there are Igbos, there are outside. It's better that he should have enough other people in his congregation.
Yeah. And
he should be mindful and watchful of what he is saying. Saying that he believes in the Igbos are this, Igbos are that. A Yoruba man, something that will happen in the next 20 years, is thinking ahead of it.
Right. Thank you very much,
Thank you. So I want to use the analogy of 2 different families. One very wealthy family and the other one not well-to-do. You know that if you have to hustle to survive in life, they say if you come from a poor home, make sure a rich home comes from you. The way the poor man's child will hustle will be very different from how the rich man's child is going to hustle. So the both race, the South Western race and the Eastern race is different. If we look at the history of Nigeria from the Civil War, the Easterners have been trying to gain their ground again, especially in Nigeria. We know that most of the time the complaint is they have been marginalized. And then in trying to prove that, yes, we are a race that, you know, we are a formidable race, they go the extra mile to stamp their presence. It's not like the Southwestern, and I don't want to start using Yoruba.
Let's be careful. I don't want us to go into those
so because
debates.
it's very sensitive.
Yeah, so I don't want us to begin
the Southwesterner already has it watered. For one time, this place was like the capital of Nigeria. So the Southwesterner doesn't have to prove himself or herself that, okay, I am this, I am that. So if you look at one of the richest set of people in Nigeria, they are the Northerners. If a Northerner tells you the amount of money they have in their account, you'll be shocked. But they're not everywhere most of the time. And they're not loud most of the time too. So I think, as we say, it's very, very, the generalization is the problem here.
Okay, let me take Ibrahim. Thanks. Is it Ibrahim? Good morning. Yakub, you're live. Go ahead, Yakub.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I totally agree with the last speaker, and then much more agree with Sister Nima. She has spoken very well. I don't know, maybe you are hearing me.
We can hear you very clearly.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, the pastor already got it wrong. He totally got it wrong. You see, you were saying that some people are not fearful. Let me give you a very typical example here. During the Civil War, I don't know why he categorized people being power that he said because they have power. That is why they are doing great. No, I totally disagree with the man. You see, during the Civil War, I knew, and then I was told by my father, it was somebody, a great man called Awolowo, advised the government of the day at that time that you are fighting somebody, you are still making them to eat food. Cut the food, cut this, cut that.
Okay.
I'm
going to cut that line up because this is a very sensitive topic. So I'm being careful the comments we get. I don't want to reopen old wounds. We're trying to let's focus on this issue because I don't want us to reopen old wounds. There are people still healing from that experiences. So we're just trying to focus on this issue that the pastor is. Amaka, let me come to you.
So it's so funny how we are trying to make a point. Even the callers are trying to make a point, but then we're still all making the same mistake. We're still being myopic in our delivery. So it's one thing to point a finger at Pastor Bolaji Idowu, which I expect him to know better because I believe he has experience in delivering speeches, in delivering his sermons. So he should know better on how to deliver, right? But then we're all making the same mistake, including our callers, including the people that are typing on social media, right? On YouTube. At the end of, we're still being myopic because we're still generalizing. We're still, everybody's still saying Yoruba, Igbo, Yoruba. It's not a debate. You find overthinkers everywhere. You find fearless people everywhere. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with tribe. If you understand it, before you start criticizing Pastor Bolaji Idowu, ask yourself, what comment have I made and what thought process have I said in
your privacy
concerning this situation? So if you've acted in that certain way, if you have no, because me, like someone like me, not like people one meeting. I like to call myself meeting. That's what has helped me in this life. Before you even advise me, I've advised myself. So as you're pointing finger at Pastor Idowu, and then you're here criticizing and everything, even if I've seen so many comments on YouTube, ask yourself, why are you still talking, say Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa? This is a open and closed conversation. It's a tribalistic, myopic insight and how a delivery of a sermon was done. Simple. It should not be tolerated. It is not right.
Fantastic. Let me take Reverend Dominic. I'll come to you, Nima. Sorry. Let me take Reverend Dominic has been holding. Good morning, Reverend Dominic. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Please, ladies, let me comfort the pastor that preached the gospel, if you listen to me. The pastor did not mean about demarcating any tribe. I'm a pastor. The pastor tried to ginger, maybe, remember he's a Yoruba young man. The pastor tried to ginger his members to be fearless. They use a name, Igbo. It doesn't mean that he's demarcating any tribe. It is you women are putting tribal issue in this message. It's a gospel. In Christ Jesus, there's no Jew, there's no Gentile. The pastor, thank God, is a Yoruba man. He's not trying to demarcate his own tribe.
Reverend Dominic,
Yes.
he said, Yoruba people, there's a problem with your tribe. That statement, please, how does it come across to you?
What he's trying to say, he must use a word. What he's trying to say that in my people, this is attitude we have.
Okay.
If you're listening to me.
Okay. All right.
Are you listening?
Yeah, very clearly. So this is my people, this is
Okay.
the...
What I'm trying to say,
fear.
the young pastor, I'm a pastor.
Yeah.
You must use something to preach the gospel.
All right.
It's not demarcating any tribe. It's not demarcating Yoruba or Igbo.
Okay.
And give an example. Jesus said, I'm a pastor. It's younger than every pastor. And this one today in the church where I pastor, I try to play down media.
Okay.
Media is causing much damage in gospel.
All right.
What the man is saying, somebody is a Yoruba man. My father in the Lord is Waloke. What very great man, Bishop Waloke, he ordained me in ministry that you cannot take anything from Yoruba people. But what pastor is saying now about tribalism, it is media, and you are putting tribalism in this matter.
All right. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic, for your views.
Nobody put words from your mouth.
Go ahead.
Just as Amaka said, Amaka was saying, we should check this, and I said that would be difficult. It's because that is a level of intelligence of the people having the... Whatever you hear from a person is, their thought
Based on
process.
them,
It's based on what they can think. Somebody can come and say, because he mentioned Igbo and the comparison will continue. That is why the comparison is dangerous. Let's even leave the races and the tribes that he's mentioned and bring it to children. If as I'm sitting here now, you want to correct me. The moment you say, do as Abigail, waiting, Abigail get on me. She better pass me. That's the thing I will hear. And so it's not a good way to pass a message. Yeah. It's wrong. If, for instance, you want me to do better, do better, this is this, that's the way to go. If you want to tell the Yoruba people that their caution has become fear,
focus on that.
Focus on it. Over years, you raised your kids to be cautious, and it is a good trait. Yeah. Because as I did so, I don't want my pikin go behave one kind, can't give me. It's supposed to be caution. I call it complex thinking. When I talk to my guy, I say, did you have complex thinking? I was born by a safety expert. My father used to tell us there's nothing like an accident. You take care of everything. No, the water slipped. I had an accident. My father would say, did you clean the floor and ensure that it was clean? We were raised to believe there was no accident, except what you did. It was always from what you didn't do or what you did wrong. And so you had to do everything by the word. To take a decision on as to what to do, you process it. Because you'll be responsible for whatever outcome and consequence come from that action. And so people were raised that way. You cannot come and tell them, that this your something is becoming fear. The moment you start a comparison battle, you better be ready for this backlash you're getting. And it's not media. Reverend Dominic is not media. We did not put words in his mouth. We did not give him the option of the comparison. Imagine that the comparison was between Yoruba people and maybe Mozambicans. Maybe for rest. But you started it like this.
True story. Two friends. I remember this story was told to me. Again, I don't want to fall into that trap of Yoruba and Igbo, but this is a true life story. So two friends, one Igbo man and a Yoruba man. They're two good friends. There was a business transaction that had to do with, with the property. And I think the Igbo man and the Yoruba friends they were talking about it and discussing it. Anyway, so the Igbo man said, let us go ahead and do this thing. Let's do this property. But the Yoruba man now found out that, the owner of this property is Lagbaja, somebody that, he's going to tell his people, hey, this thing, let us leave it alone. He tried to let us play. That one, the other guy said he didn't care because he had the right to do this. Anyway, something happened. He bought the house and he got the money and he moved on. But the Yoruba person refused to get involved in that transaction. Now, his friend made the money and was fine. Fast forward, the owner of that property got into government and was able to now engage this Yoruba friend in government. And the person now became, I don't want to mention the position he held, such that he had a lot of influence. That then his friend who took the property needed help with government and came back to his friend who then had access and power and honor. So he needed help at the time. So, they're still good friends till today because I know them very well. But the point is that different strategies. So one person did the transaction, got the money, and that person lost the money, but eventually was able to get a different position. Now, it doesn't mean one against the other. It's just two different people.
It's just
different
strategies.
strategies.
See, Morayo, if you sleep, there's a consequence. you don't sleep, there's a consequence.
If you sleep on a hard bed, there's a consequence. If you sleep on a soft one,
there's also consequence.
So you now see, you grow up as an adult, accepting life as your choices and the consequences of your choices. But for somebody to come and say that doing those choices is a tribal trait, genetic of you.
I think we can wrap up now.
I want to apologize on behalf of Pastor Bolaji Idowu. To everybody.
Because he didn't ask you to apologize.
I actually feel
he has not responded.
Okay, so I actually feel that he didn't do that out of despise, because he himself is a Yoruba man. You know, that's what I'm trying to.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I think it was pandering to his investors.
So, but I would like to land with the thought that imaging is very important, because the world look up to us. We already have our internal battles, and we want to maintain an image that when you go out and you say, I'm a Nigerian, they're not asking you, are you Yoruba or Igbo? They want to see you for who you are. So I actually want to say that most of our leaders and even the clergymen who stand on the pulpit to talk, to address congregation, they should be very careful of what they say.
You know how many wealthy, I don't have the data, and this is a generalization. I'm assuming there are a lot of filthily rich people in the Igbo people in Pastor Bolaji's church. They are so wealthy that they are major stakeholders for him. So it's important for them to love him.
No wealth, it's generosity.
I mean, this is me saying.
I think get money make another drop. You know that the Catholic Church, sorry Amaka, the Catholic Church behind my window, I like to follow bazaar. If you see the money they used to declare, 20
so
million.
Even you get money.
10 million.
So money
is generosity.
How do you mean
generosity? So
generosity.
The Igbo man can have money and the Yoruba man have money. And once I know they pay tithe, I will use it for Faji. He will declare his own money in the church. So Pastor Bolaji might not have that patronage. But if you come to the Ijebu man party, his mother's burial and he's doing it as if he's running an Ojude all by itself. Because that's where they show off their money. You cannot tell people where the money will go. But me, that I'll be experiencing that Catholic church. Sometimes, if it's money that I'm looking for, don't join them.
We have the floor, but let me quickly take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Mohammed, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to appreciate you people and this discussion you brought.
Yeah.
It's a very good one. Good morning, Mario.
Please listen to me, not the TV. It's delayed. Go ahead, please.
Okay, you see what I'm trying to say about this topic is a very sensitive topic, and we have to. Hello?
We can hear you.
We can hear you clearly. Please go ahead.
We have to be so we have to be very careful when it comes to the issue. It's just like a father now having 2 children, and at the same time you are now comparing your children. You are causing hatred between the 2 children already, because when you said, "Bola, you are better than Shola," you are this, you are that, you want to cause hatred for it. So what the pastor has done, he should be very cautious. I know that people go to theological school, and a lot of theological school where they are being trained, and they give them ways of communication whenever preaching is coming up like this. So maybe Pastor Bolaji has to go to such place so that you can get more orientation on the way he addresses people.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Thank you. Go ahead, Amaka.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is that I want to use a personal experience, which is myself, to say that people are allowed to be different things at the same time. I know I've also mentioned to you that I always say, like, I used to be an overthinker.
Yeah.
Yes, I always say that. I used to be an overthinker. And then it made me, like, in business, I lost so many opportunities because by the time I'm done looking at the pros and the cons and overthinking, the opportunity has gone. But it also made me not to get into a lot of trouble and also not to lose a lot of money over the years, right? But then I had to wake up and tell myself, like, you know what? I want to be able to jump into certain things, right? And
courageous.
Be courageous. And so as I'm allowed to evolve and to change as much as I want, depending on my circumstance or the events happening around me. And it is okay. So one person can be an overthinker, can be a coward, can be fearless, can be fearful. It is okay, depending on what's going on with you at that point in time, depending on your mood, depending on how you wake up in the morning. That will determine whether you want to take a certain risk or not.
I have to wrap up. Any good messages? I want to take a final message. Let me take a final one from engineer Tijani, PhD. Good morning, Murayo. The pastor did not speak from an informed angle. There is nothing peculiar about any race. It is about individuals. In Yoruba land, we grew up to meet the ethos called Omoluabi, where merit comes before favoritism. Nowadays, the culture of Omoluabi resides with individuals and not the general populace. And this cuts across every single way. So it's not everybody that's an Omoluabi. Some people are not Omoluabis. Now, there are people who see every white man as a racist because of the slavery that happened in the past. And this is a generalization, which is unhealthy. We are not in any competition with anybody else, with any other person. And our race in this world is not against any other race but ourselves. So again, to capture this properly, you see, we all get an opportunity to have a platform with a microphone. And that comes with a lot of responsibility. Now, you can use any way you want to compare. You can use anything you want to use your comparison. But you must be sensitive to where you are as a community. We live in a country that is very, very volatile when it comes to ethnic sentiments and religious sentiments. Everybody must be very responsible. As we build this nation together, as we try to heal all the wounds, it is irresponsible for any person who has a microphone to outrightly put attributes to one race or one tribe over the other. It is wrong, and it is selfish and it's self-serving, and we must ensure going forward that we shouldn't make this kind of mistake again. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we move to our next hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.